The world's greatest DJ.
Yeah, Brooklyn, come on, lean back, do the rock away. Lean back, come on, lean back. Uptown, come on, lean back, do the rock away. Lean back, come on, lean back. Yeah, Queensbridge, come on, lean back, do the rock away. Lean back, come on, lean back. Bronx, lean back, do the rock away. New York City, York City.
If you're ready and you know it, clap your hands. If you're ready and you know it, clap your hands. If you're ready and you know it, don't be afraid to show it. If you're ready and you know it, clap your hands.
Lean back, come on, lean back, come on, lean back, do the rock away. Lean back, come on, lean back, come on, lean back, do the rock away. Yeah, Brooklyn, come on, uptown, come on, Queensbridge, Bronx, New York City. Lean back, come on, lean back, come on.
Caracachimba, ma. Ey, tengo calderón, se pone las botas. Cuando yo te fluyo a los Tony toca. Picando los pequeños como pa' sopa. Dejándote pegado como vida loca. Lean back, aguanta esa boca. Te van a dar unos pocos por moda. Échate pa' atrás, changueta, la gente mala. Levanta tu bandera con ganas, jala. Yo también tengo pistola, y también pierdo la chola como pica. Se juntaron los boricuas. Si no te mueres ahora, te mueres ahorita. Esta liga ya no es pa' cascarita. Lean back, mami rica. Dame de lo que te sobre, hombre. Hey, lean back a los 11.
Don't dance, just pull up my pants and do the rock away. Now lean back, lean back. Come on, I said my don't dance, just pull up my pants and do the rock away. Now lean back. Lean back, lean back, lean back, come on.
If you're Puerto Rican and you know it, clap your hands. If you're Puerto Rican and you know it, clap your hands. If you're black, Spanish, white, whatever, everybody clap your hands. And it's the Puerto Rican.
Mic check, Boricuas on the set. Yeah. You ain't got no wins in me, casa. Mic check, Boricuas on the set. Yeah. You ain't got no wins in me, casa. Mic check, Boricuas on the set. Yeah. You ain't got no wins in me, casa. Mic check, Boricuas on the set. Yeah. You ain't got no wins in me, casa. Mic check, Boricuas on the set. Yeah. You ain't got no wins in me, casa. Mic check, Boricuas on the set. Yeah. You ain't got no wins in me, casa. Mic check, Boricuas
with a man for a little bit of money and his daddy's gone. Somewhere smoking rock now, in and out of lockdown. I ain't got a job now, so for you this is just a good time, but for me this is what I call life.
Boys and girls wanna hear a true story. Saturday night was at this real wild party. They had the liquor overflowing the cup. About 5, 6 strippers trying to work for a buck. Then I took one girl outside with me. Her name was Lonnie. She went to junior high with me. I said, why you up in there dancing for cash? I guess a whole lot's changed since I seen you last. She said,
what would you do if someone's at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor cause he's hungry? And the only way to feed him is to sleep with a man for a little bit of money and his daddy's gone. Somewhere smoking rock now, in and out of lockdown. I ain't got a job now, so for you this is just a good time, but for me this is what I call life.
You're jamming with the hottest disc jockey. DJ Brooklyn Rich.
Funky, cause you heard it from hearsay. A jam that you love that don't be getting no airplay. Strictly for front when you're riding around. 12 o'clock at night with your windows down. Headlights blinking cause your battery's drained. Armor all on your tires and a big gold chain. Parking outside all the hip-hop spots. Push the EQ and play connect the dots. Leaning to the side, people everywhere. The trunk full of amps, ain't no room for a spare. Big beats bumping with the bass in back. All the sophisticated suckers catch a heart attack. Cause they don't understand why I act this way. Pumping up the funky beat until the break of day. It's because I want attention when I'm riding by. And the girls be on my jock cause my system's fly. Cars ride by with the boom and systems. Cars ride by with the boom and systems. Just fun. Girlies wanna ride with a brother like me, cause they be hear me getting funky frequently. They tell me don't drink and drive, I say what is this? Pass the Heineken and mind your business. Roll up a fat one and pass it around. Laid back, hypnotized by the funky sound. People in the street see me bobbing my head while I'm checking out the rapper and the rhyme that he said. I'm frontin', and I don't care if you know. The backseat of my car's like a disco show. You would think I was a good friend about Capone. Crazy air freshener, who needs cologne? Bottom to the top to the top. Cruise. It's 3 o'clock, the girlies, they smile. They see me coming, I'm steady humming. I got the funky drummer drumming. My trunk be shaking, vibrating and rattling. Pumping so loud, all the shorties be battling. My right hand man's here without the swing. Every chance I get, I'm showing off my rings. I can keep it up until the break of dawn, cause I'm frontin' in my ride and my word is born. Front, you know what I mean? So I can feel the wind blow. I don't give a damn if it cracks my back window. C to the O to the O to the L to the I to the N to the F to the R to the O to the N to the T to the I to the N. That means I'm chillin', like Spoonie G said. My seats are soft like a bed. They recline way back so I can get real cozy. I got the gangster tapes in the place like a bass head would say. I want bass, I want a hit, I want a dose. You're rolling up smiling, but you can't come close. Cause my system is pumping loud. Like Rakim said, I wanna move the crowd. I warm it up with King, fight the power with PE. Tell the cops you got some chill with EPMD. This is something devastating that'll break your trunk. And remember, Uncle L is like the future of the funk. Yeah, the front.
And I know that he cannot approach me, 'cause I'm looking like class and he's looking like trash. Can't get with a deadbeat. So, no, I don't want your number, no. I don't wanna give you mine, and no, I don't wanna meet you nowhere, no. Don't want none of your time. No, I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want your number.
What?
No, no,
What? 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 Huh?
no, I don't want your number.
What?
No, no.
What? What? Huh?
In front of the club, I see this girl like your love. Thought she said thug, but she called me a scrub. Scrub? What? She must have tucked me a joke. Broke pigeon head freak, lucky I spoke. This ain't my Benz, this my man's, yeah. But this ain't my car, like that ain't your hair. Pigeon, take them fake jewels off. Pigeon, take your friend's shoes off. Pigeon, go ahead with that crazy shit. Y'all make me sick, go home and fucking babysit. My big dog gon' love this. Can Kirk, just get a brush and scrub this. Y'all chicks ain't getting out of. Worth the Ramada. Anyway, your friend looks hotter. Ain't it something we got a lot of.
'Cause I don't want no pigeon. Them little girls who gets no dubs from me. Playing the bar dumb rope while her best friends go. Trying to holler at me. I don't want no pigeon. Them little girls who gets no dubs from me. Playing the bar dumb rope while her best friends go. Trying to holler at me.
Bringing heat to the street and doing it strong.
Fresh like Impala, chrome hydraulic, 808 drums. You don't want none, better run. When beef is on, I pop that drum. Come get some, pistol grip, palm. If you step on my white hand once, it's red rum, ready here come. Compton, Dre found me in the slum, selling that skunk. One hand on my gun, I was selling rocks, so Master P was saying,
I put Lamborghini doors on that Escalade. Little bro, so look like I'm riding on blades. In 1 year, man, it's so great. I have a street in the telly going both ways. Touch me, tease me, kiss me, please me. I give it to you just how you like it, girl. You're now rocking with the best, straight down on my hips, step on my chest. They say I'm no good, 'cause I'm so good. Rich folks do not want me around. This might pop off, and if this pop off, somebody gon' get laid the fuck out. They call me new money, say I have no class. I'm from the bottom, I came up too fast. Hell, if I care, I'm just here to get my cash. Kiss my this is how we do. We make a move like the fool while we up in the club. This is how we do. Nobody do it like we do it, so close enough. This is how we do. We make a move like the fool while we up in the club. This is how we do. Nobody do it like we do it, so close enough.
Dandada, 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 dandada. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. Da-da-da-da-da. Dandada. Da-da-da-da-da. Dandada. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama. They got a gas on the vibe, go that's with the rama.
cherry M.A.D. Don't ever ever think of jerking me. I work too hard for my royalty. Put lead in your drink a cup of tea. Beast the red alert and Kid Capri. Ooh la la ah wee wee. I say Muhammad Ali, you say glass just clay. I say butter, you say parquet. It's alright if you wanna make a sway. On my way uptown, took the deuce to the trade. I originate, they duplicate. I praise the Lord and keep the faith. It's alright, keep biting that debate. 92, 1 year later. Peace out, premiere, take me out with the fader.
Action, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I wreck the mic like a pimp shows. Here's how it goes, I am a genius, I mean this. I shape this, you'll tape this, I'm kinda fiendish. You wish that you could come into my neighborhood, meaning my mental state. Still I'm 5'8", crazy as I wanna be, cause I make it orderly. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. The brother who will make you change opinions. Dominions, I'm in them when it's time to from the heart, cause I get a piece of the action. Feeling satisfaction from the street crowd reaction. Chumps pull guns when they feel afraid. Too late, when they dip in the kick, they get sprayed. Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I get more props and stunts than Bruce Willis. A poet like Langston Hughes and can't lose when I cruise out on the expressway. Leaving the bodega, I say suave. Premier's got more beats than Bond's got hate. Clips are inserted into my gun, so I can take the money, never have to run.
After the toll quits, I come back with more hits. After the toll quits, I come back with more hits. After the toll quits, I come back with more
I am sitting in the morning at the diner on the corner. I am waiting at the counter for the man to pour the coffee, and he fills it only halfway. And before I even argue, he is looking out the window at somebody coming in. It is always nice to see you, says the man behind the counter to the woman who has come in. She is shaking her umbrella, and I look the other way as they are kissing their hellos, and I'm pretending not to see them, and instead I pour the milk. I open up the paper, there's a story of an actor who had died while he was drinking. It was no one I had heard of, and I'm turning to the horoscope and looking for the funnies when I'm feeling someone watching me, and so I raise my head.
Daddy's little girl, but not the girl that daddy knew. Daddy never had a clue of what his little girl would do. A drifter, swift to open up and get with ya. A pocket full of dreams is for my love for kids ya. I never concentrated on the fact that I'm love, scheme for scheme, and things that would lead you to a pipe dream. Picture it, yes, I'm daddy's little girl. I never asked for nothing, now it's a string of pearls. My chance is a thing, could I win with the substance? A princess with a smile, but my sweetness is sort of grim. I never fought the feeling that I had to be wild, cause in my mind I was a mature child, but I couldn't hurt daddy. I played the role, but on a sweet tip, I was massaging the soul. Nikki had to be free, you see I had to be me. Her life just wouldn't flow through correctly. Me and daddy's little girl. But daddy don't never hurt him. But I'm daddy's little girl. But daddy don't never hurt him. Daddy's little girl. But daddy don't never hurt him. Daddy's little girl. But daddy don't never.
Come on, as I come back.
Gotta put me on.
As I come back. Come on.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah.
I proceed to break it
Come
down.
on, as I come back.
Gotta put
sublime. It's enjoyable to know you in the concubines. Take off your coats, ladies act like gems. Sit down, Indian styles, you recite these hymns. See, lyrically I'm Mario Andretti on the Momo. Ludicrously speedy or infectious with the slow-mo. Heard me in the 80s, JV's on the promo. Him, I never end the quest to get the paper on the caper. But now, let me take it to the Queen side. I'm taking it to Brooklyn side. All the residential questions who invade the air. Hold up a second, son, cause we almost there. You could be a black man and lose all your soul. You could be white and blue, but don't prep the road. See, my is universal if you got knowledge of Polo or Del myself. See, there's no one else who could drop it on the angle. They're cute at that. So who that, do that, do that, that. Come on. Who that, do that, do that, that. Who that, do that, do that, that. I'm bugging out, but let me get back cause the wet. So run and tell the others cause we are the brothers. I learned how to build lights in my workshop class. So give me the sword and let's not make it the last.
Fearless Radio. And like falling booty
Allure, they were in Australia, right? Yeah. Shout out to Allure. Welcome everybody to the Fearless Radio show. They were just down in Australia, killing it. Shout out to the girls and our little drop. We appreciate you guys. Definitely. I want to have them back in. I want to hear all about their Australia experience.
We've been on a 90s vibe like all morning. Rich is taking me back.
That's what Rich does, though. Rich is good at that. But welcome, everyone. Thanks for bearing with us. You already know we're on every second and fourth Saturday of the month at technically at 1 p.m. But you know, life. But we're here, and we're happy to be here. And we have Jason in the building. Thank you so much for being here. We're super excited to sit down and talk to you. I know that I'm very happy to have him here because he's inspiring a lot of what we're doing with the show. So I want to get some pointers from you. But definitely we want to get everyone engaged. So as we always tell you guys, call in because we want to hear from you. The number is 718-239-9200. We have some great topics of conversation today. Not only will we'll be talking with Jason about his organization, Lives of Men, but we're also going to talk about, just men in general and how they approach dating and men adapting a new mindset. Because I have noticed that although we've been complaining a lot about men, there are a lot of men who have been making a shift and who are doing great things and who are in healthy relationships. So definitely we want to talk about that, and we also want to talk about how we can create that positive perspective in our young men growing up right now. You guys are educators, so that's definitely something that I know you work on all the time. And we have an event coming up, right, Emmanuel?
Yes.
A couple of events
coming up.
Yes, but in relation to the children, Emmanuel's putting together a fabulous event where he's going to be giving away a scholarship to one of the students that win. So that's amazing. So, we're definitely all about the kids here, all about empowerment, all about positivity. So that is what our show will be centered on today, with a little controversy sometimes, how we do. But we're definitely having fun here. So shout out to Rich on the ones and twos. Hey, Rich.
Hey, what's up? What up? I'm not at the big kid person table today.
You got your own table.
Got my own table. All right.
He got his own table, his own broadcast over there. You good.
You don't even need to work with us. You can just do your own thing.
Exactly.
I love your paying, man. I gotta work with y'all.
But we want to hear from you, though. So definitely
of course.
Pop in. I know you have a lot of wisdom. But so we've kind of talked a lot about the show and what we want to, the type of content we want to bring to you. So definitely we're working very hard to bring substantial content to you guys, something that you guys enjoy. So we've come up with, a few segments, and definitely we want to get your feedback and let us know how what you think about it and stuff like that. So we're super excited to kind of introduce that today. And what else? Let's see if there's anything I have to say before we started. Valentine's Day is coming, so romantic time for some of us, I guess. I'm gonna
For
be
some
with,
of us.
I'm gonna be with my mommy because my mommy's birthday is the 13th. So
Aw.
shout out to her before
Happy
I
birthday,
forget.
Sue's mom.
And it's Fashion Week, so that's why I'm a little overdressed today because I'm gonna hit one
Over?
fashion show.
Overdressed.
I think she might be underdressed.
I
just
think she's a little
She
underdressed.
might be underdressed.
I'm dressed for the, but it's raining outside. That
I know,
sucks.
so you gotta,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
It's Black History Month. Hello, it's Black
yes,
History
Black
Month.
History. Of course, we cannot forget that we have a whole conversation about that. Definitely shout out to Black History Month.
Amen.
That's really, really dope. I know we've been having a lot of conversations about Afro-Latino and stuff like that, which is another thing we want to touch bases with Jason. So anyways, we're going to get started. So Shirley's going to introduce to everyone her segment, which is pretty cool. And I think it kind of goes in, I think it's cohesive with our energy and what we want to bring to the show.
Absolutely. I like the word energy because we always talk about how energy is transferable. And so basically, we amongst ourselves, we decided that this whole idea of zodiac and how I'm always bringing it up and we're always trying to put things into context based on when people's birthdays are and what their zodiac sign is. You know, we do it jokingly and we do it for entertainment, but I actually do take it pretty serious. I've been studying the zodiac and astrology since I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And I did it more so out of like rebellion against my parents. They always told me it was evil and it's called and, you know, you shouldn't dabble with the devil and all these different things, which I do think if, to a certain extent it can be if, you know, you're not careful. You have to be careful with how you use it. But basically, we decided to incorporate a segment, and we're going to call it "What's Your Name? What's Your Sign?" Like Victoria's B.I.G. You know, where each week, depending on where we fall in the month, I will just go over some of the basic personality traits, best practices to deal with each sign, and some of the things to look out for. So, we are February 10th.
Yeah.
So we are in Aquarius. We're in Aquarius, which is. Kind of like a low-key sign. I think Aquarius.
You're an Aquarius?
No, he's an Aries.
Oh.
I'm an Aries.
We had this conversation before.
Aries.
Okay.
There are a gift and a curse. They are.
I beg to differ. No, I'm kidding.
But Aquarius is the water bearer by symbol. Their mantra or their motto is "I know." And what I do know about Aquarius is they are highly intelligent, and I think that people don't give them the credit that they deserve in regards to how smart that they really are. They're almost like the quirky, nerdy type, with a lot of sex appeal though. So they're like the sexy nerd.
I agree.
They often get accused of being kind of aloof, distant, non-committal. It's not that. It's just they're very guarded people. They like to guard their field. Look at you saying amen. We need a collection plate. She's like, amen.
I'm adding the ad libs.
You need an ad lib?
I'm agreeing.
Very guarded. They don't trust easily. Once they do trust you, though, they're very possessive because it takes so much to get them to that point, and very protective of their loved ones and their friends. I think they, like I said, are kind of misunderstood people. They're very adventurous. They like to travel. They like to try new things. And when you convert that into a relationship, it sometimes might lead to cheating or maybe being a little too flirtatious, but it's not that they, you know, are doing it with malicious intent. They just like a lot of different things. They're almost like collectors, like collect things, like collect people, and then they keep it moving. They get what they need out of it, and they keep it moving. So I actually have a lot of Aquarius friends, and you know that's pretty much it. Best mates, best compatibility for Aquarius, I would say, would be Leo, Sagittarius, Gemini, right? Why are you looking at me like that, Amy?
Because my boyfriend's an Aquarius and I'm a Libra, so I'm waiting for you to say
Libra. That was I said. The other air sign is Libra.
You're just saying
no.
that now.
Libra's like soulmate. No, because you're air sign.
Oh,
so
yes,
the other air
yes.
signs and the fire signs. Danger zone, Pisces. Pisces, like myself, might be a little too much for them. We're a little needy for them. Pisces are very expressive, and we like our mates to be expressive and tell
we'll
us.
talk about that on the next.
Yes, Pisces is next.
Yeah.
Virgo and Aquarius is a fist fight to be avoided at all costs.
Yikes.
Virgos are very critical, analytical, and Aquarius is not down with that.
No,
they don't like to be judged.
High five,
see?
Oh
Girl, she's turning into the loop. What's wrong with you, girl?
Listen, you're talking and I'm like,
And Aquarius will peace out, like without warning. If they feel like somebody's trying to control them, they are out.
And that's the coldest way to end anything.
They're cold. They perceive as
They
cold.
just cut off all communication.
Like you're dead to them. You don't exist.
Dead.
So,
Dead.
Aries presents a little bit of a positive
vibe.
challenge for Aquarius, though. Aries and Aquarius can do well because they both kind of vibe the
Aries
same.
and Aquarius?
Yeah, but the Aquarius will usually end up hurting the Aries, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
And
So.
Aries are sensitive, even though they don't show it.
Yeah,
but
Rich,
they
y'all
are
try to
very
act like y'all not
sensitive.
sensitive.
They're
They
so
don't-
sensitive. Oh, we know, girl. We got you.
Wanna comment on
We know.
Oh.
Shout out to Rich,
Shout out to
Rich's
Rich's boo.
wifey in the building.
Wifey says she can comment on.
Wifey says it's true. Aries are sensitive.
They're sensitive. No, but that's pretty much it, guys. So shout out to all the Aquariuses. Happy birthday if your birthday
Definitely.
is coming or has recently passed.
Yes,
Right?
I agree. I agree 100% because my mom is an Aquarius, so I see all those traits in her. She is very guarded, and she's one of those parents that's like, don't trust anyone. That's not your friends. And it's like, Mom, so who's my friend? Nobody?
They don't trust.
Your mom is your friend.
I'm the only friend
I'm
you
your
need.
friend, right?
Like, I'm your friend.
I'm
You
like,
need more
come on,
friends.
Mom. No, it's true. And they're very disconnected, very true. I always talk to my mom, that she needs to work on that with family and everything. My mother's Puerto Rican and most of our family is in Puerto Rico. So, I've been telling her, Mom, we're due. We have to take a trip. We have to visit everyone. You guys are all getting older.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So definitely all those traits my mom has, but she's a great woman. Definitely wise. So I agree with that.
Wise beyond their years.
Definitely wise. She's older, but so it's cliche that I say this, but she does have a very old soul and she always has had it. So happy birthday, Mommy. Yay. Okay. So that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I look forward to doing this. I'm excited.
Yes. So, all in all, it's Aquarius season. So let's show love to Aquarius. And let's share that positive energy with them. Energy. Yeah. So we're going to move on to things that are happening in the world, which we're not in agreement with a lot. And, it bothers us. And things that are not so relevant, but are so popular for some reason, which is ridiculous. But we're going to talk about them because they're there.
So, hi, ladies. I haven't had a chance to say
Hey, boo.
hello on the air. Hey, Rich. Hey, guests, and everyone watching and listening. So, in case you guys have been living under a rock, and in case you missed my top 5 moments of the week,
Some
here
people
they
like
are.
living under a rock.
Yeah,
so
some people are
it's true.
totally
Some
unaware.
people prefer
so
living under a rock, actually.
We're here to provide them that breath of fresh air
Yes.
that they need in terms of
All the
current events.
hermits, we want you guys.
Exactly. So tune in, please. So the first thing on my list is, have you guys seen the Quincy Jones interview with Vulture magazine?
I didn't. Tell me about it.
So in a recent interview with Vulture magazine, Quincy Jones revealed many deep, dark secrets in the entertainment industry. The 84-year-old R&B legend, who has been in the industry for almost 7 decades, revealed information about Michael Jackson's addiction to plastic surgery and propofol, Marlon Brando's sexual encounters with Marvin Gaye, Richard Pryor, and James Baldwin, as well as dating Ivanka Trump
Oh my.
in the early 2000s, allegedly. Jones, who is perhaps best known for producing Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad albums, also criticized the current state of music, claiming that producers are now simply just chasing money and ignoring the musical principles of previous generations.
Jesus.
He went in.
Have we
totally
opened
agree.
up the door to anyone just saying whatever they want about
Pretty
the
much.
fashion?
So I think that Quincy Jones, because he is
God, we've
84 years
opened up a
old,
can of
he
worms.
gives 0 FUCKs at this
Right.
point. He has nothing to lose. Anyway,
Wow.
the next thing
He's
is...
a Pisces, by the way. I just like to throw that in.
Is he a
there.
Pisces?
Yes, he is.
Girl.
We don't claim
I'm
him
not
anymore.
telling you
though.
no more. Because when we get older, Shirley's going to spill all the beans.
I'm not gonna spill it to you. We don't claim him. We have traded Quincy Jones. Thank you very much.
okay. All
My
right.
parents always told me and taught me to respect my elders, so I will keep my comments to myself.
Very well said.
Omarosa, so she is back in the news, making a big splash this week on the first season of American Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, God.
So, known as our favorite reality villain, she is making headlines again as a contestant on the show, which is one of everybody's top favorites, I'm assuming, and for her recent White House revelations during the show. In a recently released clip, the former communications director at the White House Office of Public Liaison claims to have been haunted by tweets and kept away from President Trump while she was there. When she would attempt to provide counsel to him, they basically pushed her away.
Of course they did.
I wonder why. So she also added that things at the White House are pretty bad and are not going to be okay. Critics continue to question the validity of her statements. I believe that last statement I just made.
I would also like to add that the
Right.
African American women have traded Omarosa as well.
Of
We
course.
don't blame her either.
So I don't know if we should. Somebody on CNN, it was a
He's
reporter.
trading
I forgot
everybody,
her name.
Shorty. Shorty's trading everybody.
Yeah,
today.
Omarosa is not someone we want to talk about. Maybe during
No.
Black History Month,
So
right?
let's move on.
Disregard my last
Yes.
comments.
Exactly.
Oh, Oprah is an Aquarius. We do support Oprah.
Happy
Oprah is
birthday,
always on our
Oprah.
team.
We love Oprah.
Yes, and her recent, I just want to say real quick, her recent photo shoot she did, oh my God, I love it.
Slay, Oprah.
I love it. And she's like full of life and you can see like all the happiness. I like that. I like that. That she did that. That was amazing.
If I had billions of
Billions.
dollars.
No, definitely, definitely. But
Money
you-
to burn.
But I feel like Oprah has been through some stuff, you know. So to see her so free and you know like free spirited and
Oprah's
just like
been through
happy
it.
and you know that it was a breath of fresh air and she
As
looks
she should.
amazing.
She's been through it, but I will say
Yes.
this. I forgot to mention about Aquariuses. They are very much into humanitarianism. They love to make the world a better place. They're
That's the
philanthropists.
definition of Oprah.
Yes, and that's where
Yeah.
they get their joy from. So she does have a
Amazing.
buttload of money, but I don't think that's where she gets her happiness. She gets
Right.
it from doing and helping
Yeah.
others. So shout out to Oprah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So moving from Oprah to perhaps less popular
OG.
individual, Kylie Jenner's baby was born this week. So the Kardashian Jenner clan welcomed another baby to their family. I believe it was last Sunday. Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott's baby girl named Stormy Webster after Kylie's
names.
love of butterflies and the theory that they could change the weather or cause a storm. The pregnancy, which was kept in the dark, so they kept this all under wraps for months, even through huge speculations,
Somewhat, although we all
was
know, right?
met.
Everybody
It was
knows.
met with an apology from Jenner for keeping her fans out of the loop, claiming that she wanted to keep the experience to herself until it was time to share. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't discuss the Kardashians.
No comments?
No.
Oh, I'll say something. I don't hate them. I'm one of those people that I don't hate
either.
them. And I actually think that it wasn't a bad idea to become secluded through her pregnancy. I think because she did that, she probably enjoyed it way more. And there was less judgment from the world, you know, because she's someone who puts herself out there and there's people judging them all the time, you know. So I think that that was a good idea. You know, the baby's born now. And for some reason, I get like a maternal instinct from her. So I think that I don't know her, but I think that she is actually going to be real maternal and a great mother. I think so. She's very young, so I don't advise that to anyone, but I don't judge her because I also was her same age when I had my first child.
Yeah.
And I think that if you bring a human being into this world and you actually take it serious as a parent, you can become a great parent regardless of age.
I agree.
So that's what I think about that. But I did want to say something about the names. It's getting a little ridiculous. I kind of feel like, okay, so our
Northwest, Southwest,
2040
East-West.
president is going to be named Stormy.
Storm, Nor'easter.
It's like, really? Come on, guys. I mean, I know that probably she wasn't thinking to that extent, you know, like my daughter is going to be president or anything like that, but I'm just like the names.
I feel like names nowadays don't have the meaning that they once
meaning,
had,
right.
So
Well,
people
hey.
are just naming them to be original as opposed to
Right.
be
Well, it's
meaningful.
better than John Travolta's son's name.
Which is?
Pilot Inspector.
You know what?
That's
Yeah.
cute.
Pilot Inspector.
I guess we rather a president be named Pilot than Stormy.
When you're rich, you know, you
Yeah.
afforded these luxuries.
Absolutely.
I need my baby to be able to get a job, have a name on
That-
a resume where
Exactly.
they'll
I
call you
mean-
back. 'Cause
Exactly.
You see, that's true. But then at the same time, we're in a millennial world right
This is
now.
true.
So I feel like I was born in the 80s, but I feel like I kind of have that millennial mindset a little bit. That's why I call myself a corporate hippie because I'm corporate, but I'm very rebellious and very into you should, portray yourself how you want to. So I never take off my nose ring when I go on an interview. I never, I act
Really?
like, I
Interesting.
don't. My position that I have now, I went with my nose ring, everything. Like, I didn't change anything about myself. So
If they want you, they want you.
They want you. I agree.
And if they don't want you, it's not the place for you anyway.
Right. I think it should be based on your experience and your education and your hard work.
Culture too. I
Yeah.
think that you have to fit into the culture of wherever you're trying to become employed. Because you can be talented and have the resume, but if you don't mesh with that culture, it's going to be an unhappy place for you.
Definitely. It's not going to match. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I have 2 more items on our current events agenda. So the next thing, it's a little far removed from today, but I thought it was a really interesting story to share. Leslie Jones posted a very somber message on her Instagram last week as she pushed through an intense workout with her personal trainer. The 50-year-old comedian is best known for being a cast member on Saturday Night Live. She has posted saying, "I feel like I'm doing it for nothing. What's it all for if the people you want don't notice?" She went to say, "I just feel like I might just die alone."
It made me sad. I saw that. It made me sad.
Very, very, very sad
Because
moment.
a lot of people feel like that.
Her fans then took to Twitter with a great wave of support in the form of 37,000 likes and comments, including fans saying that she is an inspiration for how transparent and genuine she is.
Yeah.
Jones will be working as a commentator during this year's Winter Olympics in South Korea.
Okay. I will tell you what this is. You see how much love she got after she put that statement out. So this is what some of us, I'm not saying this is the full basis of why she wrote that, but this is what a lot of us do, especially a lot of us who are like in the entertainment business. We focus more on who's not giving you the attention versus who is, versus your audience that you already have. Just focus on that and cater to them. You know, figure out like who your niche is and cater your talent to that audience. And I think that you will grow more if that's what you focus on. You know, because we tend to do that a lot. We had a conversation in our group chat regarding, you know, the haters and all the following that you have, but they don't really watch your stuff or comment or support you. You know what I mean? So we had that conversation. So I think that moving forward, we should just focus on who does support you.
Well, I think she was coming from more of a relationship perspective, saying, I'm doing all this, I'm working out, I'm trying to look fit, but who am I looking fit for? And, you know, she's taken a lot of flack in the past few years for being, you know, dark-skinned. She doesn't conform with the hair weaves and the relaxed hair. So what was it, Ghostbusters that she did? They bashed that woman to no, and all she was doing was being herself. You're ugly, you're like a monkey, you're this, you're that. So she took it. You know, she didn't stoop to their level. She took it. But at the end of the day, Sue, there are a lot of people that feel that way.
No,
like,
I know.
am I ever going to get a husband? Is anyone ever going to love me for me?
Believe
Why
me,
am I
I
only
know.
being judged about or based on what I look like on the outside? And if you've never experienced that, it's very easy to say, you know, just get over it, worry about the good, but
oh yeah,
it gets lonely.
Absolutely, I am not discrediting her feelings or anyone who feels like that
Yeah,
at
it
all.
gets
I've
lonely.
felt like that. I felt like that. You know, I had a tumultuous relationship, so I felt at a point in my life where nobody wanted me, nobody loved me, or whatever the case is. Trust me. The reason why, but I'm not saying it to discard the feeling. It's more like, okay, so let's look at what's her name? Gabrielle Sidibe. No, Gabrielle Sidibe, right?
Gabrielle Sidibe.
Oh,
Precious.
right,
Yes,
right.
Precious.
I hate you.
Yes.
Y'all gonna stop calling that woman
No,
Precious.
but listen.
That's what people know her as.
No, but let's look at her and let's look at how it all depends on your mindset. Let's look at how she has turned that negative into such a major positive. And that's all she talks about. How one day she just woke up. I know that she said a quote, I don't remember it, but one day she just woke up and she was like, why am I gonna feed into this? I'm gonna live my best life and I'm gonna be happy. And in every picture she takes, she's super happy. And it's not to say that when she's alone, she doesn't go through this.
Yeah.
It's not to say that, but you can become your worst enemy when you focus too much on not having that, whatever it is that you're searching for. You know what I mean? I think that if we all focus, which I'm gonna talk about next, if we all focus on our personal self and our self-love, everything will come at its time. You know, so it's very sad to feel like that. You know, there's people in my life who have a major depressive issues, who don't feel like they're good enough for anything, and also who really hate everything that's going on in this society. So they have gotten to a point where they hate people. They don't want to be around people anymore. They don't want to do certain jobs because it involves interacting with people all the time. They become hermits. They just want to be by themselves. They want to do a job that it doesn't require. And it's like, I understand.
I like what you said though, but a lot of that goes back to whatever your spiritual base is.
Exactly.
Because I probably wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't constantly remind myself that it's God's plan. Whatever
Exactly.
is meant to be is going to be. It's not my plan. I definitely believe in predestination. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If it's not meant to happen for me with that person, it's not going to happen. And I don't have to understand why. Just accept the lesson, move on, and stay positive and do things, like you said, that make you happy. Enjoy your life. Stop worrying about what the other person has and what, grass is not always greener on the other side.
Love yourself. And you can work on things to improve yourself, your body, whatever it is. But take that initiative, make that plan. But at the moment, love yourself where you're at that moment. Even if you're going to work to improve yourself, you have to love yourself where you're at that moment.
It's
because
hard to do.
It is hard. But it's going to sabotage everything around
That's
you.
right.
It's going to sabotage your relationships with other people. It's going to sabotage your job. It's going to sabotage your career. It's going to sabotage so many things. We can be our worst enemies. So, I just wanted to share that.
Shout out to Emmanuel. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. I have a coworker who is a faithful watcher.
Coworkers love Emmanuel.
Faithful viewer. And she loves Emmanuel. And she took away something from one of our shows where we were talking about affirmations. And
Live next when we come back.
oh no, it's she says every day since she watched the show, she has an affirmation and she tells herself she's beautiful, she's smart, she's funny. And she looks
love
happier.
that.
She's
I
like,
love
Shirley,
that.
thank you so much. Tell Emmanuel I said, hey,
Oh,
hey, Rooney.
Give Rudy a hug from me.
I will give you. She's the sweetest and she's so beautiful. And but she definitely did say that she took that away. She's married, she has children, and she's very selfless. Even with the kids that she teaches, she goes above and beyond for her students. And sometimes she just feels like she has nothing left to give anybody. So shout out to Rooney.
Yeah, shout out to Rooney. And it's listen, I cannot stress, guys, how important it is. It's just very important to take that step. I know it's super, super difficult. But another thing that would help also is surrounding yourself by like-minded individuals.
Absolutely.
I know everybody says that, but it's the truth. Because my tribe, I love my tribe.
Hey.
I love you guys. Like, you guys inspire me every single day. You know what I mean? If I was around people who were negative, then the negative side of me would consume
negative
me.
too.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So the last thing, you guys probably saw this on social media. They were making fun of her, but some people really admire her for doing this. Nancy Pelosi, who is the House Minority Leader, set a new record for giving a speech on the House floor that lasted over 8 hours, 8 hours and 10 minutes to be exact. Pelosi's speech advocating for the rights of dreamers came during the threat of a government shutdown if a bipartisan deal was not made before a February 9th deadline. Democrats and Republicans had to decide on how to allocate $300 billion of government funds, which Republicans wanted to spend on the military and other domestic programs. Democrats, however, including Pelosi, threatened to not approve any deals until legislations for dreamers were passed. She did that in 4-inch heels, and she is 78 years old.
She'd be drinking 1 glass of wine a day.
Probably.
At least.
I heard Queen Elizabeth does that, and that's why she's still
I'm here
living.
for it. I'm here for it. I believe in it.
78 years old, very
That's
impressive.
crazy.
Tell you.
Yeah, and I admire her for that.
Absolutely. 8 hours is a long time. I could do it. I wear heels all the time. So
Could
I
you
love
make a
it.
speech for 8 hours?
In my heels? Yeah, if I focus on it, I think I could. Everyone can do whatever they want.
We're gonna put you to the test too.
Yeah, everyone can do whatever they want. I'll do it last minute too, like ready.
We do it. Teachers are we're on our feet all day, right?
All day.
You can't sit down.
Exactly.
There's no sitting.
Exactly. So before we go into our next segment, in honor of Black History Month, I do want to shout out all the amazing women who have their organization, and men. Shout out to Jason and the Lives of Men. I want to give a shout out to all these amazing African Americans who are making their companies so successful. In this day and age of social media, that's one positive that I like about it, is that you're able to reach so many masses. And these people are doing so many great things. And shout out to Nikki Price. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. I'm so sorry. But shout out to Nikki Price. She has a women empowerment event today. We're probably going to get there a little too late because we had the show. But shout out to her, and for even acknowledging us and including us in the event. Like, we're super appreciative, and I'm super excited for you. And we're definitely going to be there at the next one. And shout out to Lisa Nicole Cloud. She has a fashion show today, so that's gonna be pretty dope and awesome. And you know, everybody's doing great things, so I'm super excited for Black History Month. Definitely.
So everybody that's doing the
major
work
supporter.
every day. You're doing the work every
Yes.
day, not just in the month of February.
Exactly. Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
Yes, definitely.
Men and women alike.
Definitely. Okay. So, our next segment is called Positive. What was it? Positive Minds, Positive Life, or Happy Minds, Happy Life. Sorry, guys. We're just starting this, but hear me out. I have something great to say. But you know what? I want to say it correctly. So let me go to my notes real quick. Hold on one second. Okay, I got it, guys. I'm on point. Healthy minds, healthy life.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes. So I'm gonna be I'm gonna be incorporating this segment because I'm a preacher. So I am the annoying person in the text who's always seeing the light or the glass half full, as they say.
It's optimism.
I am is optimism. Yes, that is very true. I've been through a lot of things in my life, and I've gotten through them. A lot of the situations that I've been through could have had ended up in death.
Amen.
So I am very happy to be alive, and I want to share, you know, kind of like my wisdom and how I was able to get out of those situations with a happy, positive mindset. So for this show today, we're going to talk about developing intentional growth. So I have been coaching myself as well in the growth process in my career, and also, you know, with my women empowerment. It's very hard to have an organization that really is kind of sort of intangible. Like you don't have anything that you're actually physically making or doing with this, but you're using yourself as a vessel to share, you know, your optimism and positivity with everyone and to empower everyone. So it's very difficult to have that because you have to be able to reach the masses. So I kind of been coaching myself on growth and what growth consists of. So I've been reading a lot, and I wrote down a few notes on what I felt was the most important thing that I got from, you know, the document that I was reading. So it talks about when you focus on your growth as a person, it opens up the doorway to your potential. So in this particular book, it talks about growth being the main thing you have to focus on instead of a goal. So for example, everyone has a goal. You can reach the goal, but once you reach the goal, then what? You know what I mean? But focusing on your growth is what will propel you to continue to create more goals for yourself once you've reached that one. So, and then it goes on to say potential equates to optimism and possibilities. Again. So I have one of the things, you know, I'm excelling at one of the things, which is optimism. So I'm definitely working on my potential right now. But it does create a lot of possibilities. So, and then it says, look at growth as an intentional act. You must intentionally want to grow. Growth doesn't just happen on its own, right? So a lot of people may think that, especially like in your corporate career, that once you're climbing the ladder, you're growing at the same time. But technically you're not. You know what I mean? Because growth comes with your thought and your mind process as well. So I think that it's very important to kind of like dig deep and create that plan and intentionally help yourself to grow, not just let it happen by mistake or, you know, whatever the case is. Like I know a lot of people have become successful, and when they talk about their success story, they say, I was very blessed and lucky, and it just happened, you know? But it doesn't happen to everyone that way. So for, you know, those of us who actually do have to work very hard to you know, attain our goals, we have to sit down and think about growth, definitely.
It's actually a catchphrase right now in education, this whole idea of a growth mindset, where you just take whatever happens, good, bad, or ugly, and you use it as a lesson, so that you're never disappointed. Because you expect that there are going to be bad things, there are going to be outcomes that are undesirable, but everything is targeting your growth, development as a professional, as a human being.
Exactly.
And it's almost like impossible to become depressed or, you know, downtrodden with that. So that's what we're trying to teach
Exactly.
kids.
So it all ties in together, you know, because, you know, even at work, like when you're going before an interview, like not only do they look at your skills and your education and your progress, but they also look at your, characteristics, your
Absolutely.
personality. You know what I mean? And some people don't like that, but I think that that's very important because it shows if you can carry a conversation with someone. It shows how you can represent that, individual's company. If you would have successful, interactions to build relationships for the company. So I think that if you look at it from that aspect, you won't feel as judged when you're walking into that situation. So then it goes on to talk about to discover your purpose, which purpose is major for me. To discover your purpose, you need to grow in self-awareness. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Not everyone is lucky enough to figure out what their purpose is in life, right? So I think that the more we become aware of our surroundings and our likes and dislikes and what energy we want to be around and what energy we don't want to be around and what we, like to do in life and what we want to succeed in, I think that that'll help with discovering what your purpose is. I always mention there's, someone in my life who, like I mentioned earlier, goes through, a hermit phase. And that's exactly the conversation that I was having with her the other day. I was telling her just sit down and write what it is exactly that you like. And I think when you do that, you'll probably discover what direction you have to take. Yeah, but you definitely need to be aware of your surroundings. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why? Why do I dislike this? Why do I like this? And I think that that'll help you definitely just discover it. It's very important to discover your purpose. There's a lot of people that are walking around in life as zombies. You know what I mean? So to know what your purpose is and to use that purpose to inspire others and help and be a humanitarian.
That's what I was about to say.
Yes.
A lot of that, when you don't know where to start, just start with service.
Exactly. Yes.
Helping and doing for others will help you cultivate what it is you're supposed to do. And you'll get joy out of that. If you can't find it in anything else, you can do it by helping someone else, which kind of ties into what we want to talk to Jason about, his organization. What is it? The Lives of Men. I always want to say lives to men like boys to men. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. The Lives of Men.
It's not a 90s band.
So
definitely,
he is coming up next, and hopefully he can shed some light on some of the things that we can do with our men and our boys. As we talk a lot about girls and women, and we're forgetting about the men.
Exactly. I mean, and to go back to being a human being, it also goes and says to become a better human being, you need to grow in character.
That's right.
So again, just work on yourself. Just work on yourself, and I think you'll be able to express your needs and wants way better once you know exactly what you want. So I'm gonna move on because I know that we want Jason to come on. And then another thing it says is to advance in your career, you need to grow in your relationships. That's another thing that I feel like is very difficult for some people, to create new relationships with others, to network. Everyone's not the best networker. I know that I wasn't at a point, I was that person in the room who, and again, this is like going backwards to the first thing that I mentioned. I kind of feel like in the beginning of my journey with Fearless Women and Women Empowerment, I was very lucky because I knew so many great people. So they would invite me to places and I would technically go out to network, but I would be that girl who would sit in the corner and be antisocial with everyone. So I was lucky enough to have peers around me and friends around me who were super full of energy and who were great at networking, and they would make me network. So they'll bring people to talk to me and I would meet them, and then that's how I started building, my organization. But I think that definitely is very important to build relationships. Absolutely.
You said your network is your net worth.
Exactly.
That should be our mantra.
It's true. It's true. And this is why, social media and all this stuff was invented, mainly for that purpose. So definitely is very important, guys. I know it's very hard sometimes, but when you're working on something that you feel passionate about and it's your purpose, it won't feel too
like
bad.
work.
Exactly.
It won't feel like work. If that's your passion.
Right. Your elevator pitch becomes exactly what you are. It's not even an elevator pitch anymore. It's like, talk to me about what your passion is. Boom. You know what I mean? So definitely relationships are important. To reach your financial goals, you need to grow in your knowledge about how money works. Very important as well. And that all comes with growth. Growth is it's made up of different things, including your financial status. You know what I mean? In order for you to grow as a person in your business, in your relationships, your financial status definitely has to be on a positive, because you're building with someone. You can't be selfish and, you know, have this incredibly negative credit, or not saving money and being reckless with spending it, and not worrying about the person you're with. You know, definitely that's very important. So we need to start reading more about, even myself, how, you know, gaining knowledge on how money works and how to, you know, save and not be so frivolous.
And focusing more on generational wealth.
Right.
Somewhere along the way, we forgot that the goal is to leave an inheritance for your children, for your family.
Right.
And as minorities, we tend to forget that. You see a lot of these other people, okay, other races, they leave something for their family, their children to start with. They're not starting from ground zero. They're starting with property. They're starting with investments. They're starting with bank accounts. You know what I mean? And we need to start teaching that. Generational wealth. So you're not just working for yourself, you're working to leave an inheritance for your kids.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
That's so funny, because I remember my daughter telling me, and she just said it very loosely without thinking how powerful, you know, it was what she said. But she said, you know, when she grows up, she's going to run my organization.
Wow.
So I was like,
There you
yes,
go.
girl, speak it into existence.
Speak it into existence.
Yes, but no, that's very important. Absolutely. So I'm gonna wrap it up, but I do want to mention some important things that I highlighted here. So these are some excuses that people make. I mean, that people some excuses that people say that is hindering them from growing. A lot of people say, I assume that I will automatically grow. We kind of touched on this. You shouldn't assume. You should definitely plan for your growth. It's very important to plan, because once you hit that goal, you're gonna have many other goals. So you have to have something written down that tells you, okay, this is what I want to achieve ultimately. So, you know, you're gonna keep hitting those goals, keep hitting your goals. So don't automatically think that you're gonna grow. It's not gonna happen. And even when you hit those goals, if you're not growing as a person, you're really not growing entirely. So that's one excuse. Another thing people say is, I don't know how to grow, right? So this goes and talks about difficult experiences in life teach lessons at times the hard way, and they either change for the better or worse. However, this does not lead to growth all the time. Plan your growth intentionally. Just because you've been through, you know, I always talk about, because I've been through what I've been through in my life, it has helped me grow as a person. Yes, this is true. However, there still has to be an intention behind it. You still have to intentionally want to grow. So that's what it's talking about.
Want to change.
Exactly.
And want to grow.
Absolutely. Another thing people say is, it's not the right time to begin. I've said this
Never
before.
a right time.
Exactly. I've said this before. You know, I walked in today talking about, oh my God, my children, what am I gonna do? You know, so there's times that I sit down and I'm like, can I really do this? Can I really handle this? This is a lot in my life right now. I have a lot on my plate. Should I put this off? No, there's no right time. There's no right time. You know, just like when you have a child. I had a child when I was 19 years old, and who's to tell me when is the right time? I have been very successful at being a parent, you know? So there's no right time. If you want to start doing something, start it now. Even with the most minimalistic thing, like Shirley mentioned, just provide a service, you know? So definitely that should not be an excuse. Another excuse is, I'm afraid of making mistakes. We're all afraid of making mistakes. But guess what? Making mistakes is a part of your growth, right?
Growth mindset.
Exactly. You know, a lot of people may feel like they would look foolish, but foolish is the price to pay for improving yourself. You know what I mean? Just like we always say in the beginning of our show, we want people to call in and to comment, because we want to know if there's any topic you guys want us to talk about and how we can make it better. Because, you know, everything we're doing, we're not doing it for nothing. We're doing it to contribute to our community, contribute to our tribe. So definitely, mistakes is fine. We all make mistakes. I've made plenty. Another excuse is, I have to find the best way before I start. Again, that kind of ties in finding the right time to begin. Another excuse they talk about is, I don't feel like doing it. Lack of inspiration. That goes back to what I mentioned. Find your tribe. There you would find your motivation. Absolutely, 100%. Another thing people do is compare themselves to others. That is detrimental to what you want to do. Focus on your journey and your goal.
I'm so guilty of that. I think that's the worst thing that I do.
Especially the older we get, we feel like we're supposed to be at a certain level, have accomplished a certain amount, and that is completely false.
Yeah,
operate under that mentality.
It's not good. It's very damaging.
What's yours is yours. What's meant for you is meant for you.
Exactly.
That's it.
Everyone has their own journey. Another excuse is I thought it would be easier than this. Nothing comes easy. I cannot say this any louder. Nothing comes easy, guys. So definitely not an excuse. Okay, so real quick, it talks about some questions you should ask yourself to make the change. How far can you go? Set your direction. Where do you want to go in life? What direction do you want to go? What's the furthest you can imagine yourself going? Ask yourself those questions, and that should help you, find your guidance. And do it now. And then some tips that I want to share to start working towards your growth. Write a specific plan and take the first step of the plan today. Figure out what has stopped your growth. Create and implement.
Or who? What or who?
Yes. Create and implement strategies that will assist in achieving your plan. Schedule time for personal growth. I can't stress that enough. I've been trying to meditate, so I think that's what I'm going to use for a part of my growth too, because my brain is always all over the place, and I think that prevents me from focusing. Do a little something every day that would aid in your personal growth, and put in the time today. And that is it, guys. And I hope you guys took from this, because it is very important for you. These are like the first baby steps for you to start in your intentional growth process. So I hope you guys enjoyed our segment. We're going to take a quick short break because I got to bring Jason on.
Jason, thank you, boo.
Quick short break.
She want to love her man.
Oh, take them in front of us, team.
Work, 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 work.
Talk them up, big gun, I don't run to me.
Work, 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 work.
Oh, take them in front of us, team.
Work, 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 work.
Oh, the shit. Watch this. What's that?
Work, 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 work.
She want to love her man.
Work, 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 work. To me, I be work, 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 work. See me do me dirt, 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 dirt. So me better work, 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 work. When you walk a line, 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 line. I'm in the cafe, my ta, 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 ta.
She want to love her man.
Drive me a dessert. No time to have you lurking. You make a like, now you don't like it. You know I dealt with you the nicest. Nobody touched me in the righteous. Nobody text me in a crisis. I believed all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my passion. You took my heart, all my sleep, a decoration. You mistaken my love, I brought for you for foundation. All that I wanted from you was to give me something that I never had, something that you never seen, something that you never been. But I wake up and hell nothing's wrong. Just get ready for work, 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 work. To me, I be work, 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 work. See me do me dirt, 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 dirt. So me better work, 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 work. Na 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 na. When you walk, na 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 na. Before the table turn, 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 turn. Beg you something, please.
Woman want good love. Now sympathize. Woman want good love every night. Right up. You have a girl? Ali. Step up.
She want to love her man.
Action.
At a bag of motor.
Sweet.
Don't be made the girl them broke out.
Action.
At a bag of motor.
Sweet.
Don't be made the girl them broke out.
You think you are so fine.
Big chat no work, yeah, man, watch the time.
Stop playing with my mind.
Oh, man, no in a joke when she will want the wine.
You call me on the phone.
I know what a talking angel come down.
And now I want you home.
I tell Jackie, girl, me nah use no stone.
Action.
At a bag of motor.
Sweet.
Don't be made the girl them broke out.
Action.
At a bag of motor.
Sweet.
Don't be made the girl them broke out.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lil Mama, and you are tuned in to Fearless Radio Show on DSN.
Hey, shout out to Little Mama for that. We appreciate you.
Hey, boo.
She's so pretty.
She is pretty.
I feel like she's misunderstood, guys.
And underrated.
Because I had the pleasure to have a conversation with her and interview her, and she has like the greatest heart. So shout out to her. We gotta get her on.
My
You know, we
lipstick,
can
what
make
is
it
it? My lip
happen.
gloss is popping.
Yes, and she's so pretty. She has a rough background too, but we'll talk about her once we get her in. So we have Jason Rosario.
Hey, Jason.
What's up? What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Good to have another man at the table.
You got backup now. Emmanuel has backup. He got backup, y'all.
Yeah, we're balanced. Now. That's good.
Oh my God, we are super excited to have you here. So honestly, I'm gonna read a little bit of your bio because you've been working on so many great things that I don't want to leave anything out.
No worries.
So just to let you guys know a little bit about Jason. He's a social entrepreneur, cultural creative, and founder of the Lives of Men, which is how we met. And Lives of Men is an integrated media and lifestyle brand that chronicles stories, the diverse interests of men of color. An Afro-Latino man of and for the culture has dedicated his work to increasing the flow of opportunity to communities of color.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Amen.
I love that. Through his work, Jason has developed an intersectional feminist perspective of masculinity within the context of culture, identity, and self-actualization. Super important. We talked about this.
This is another catchphrase. I've heard it at
Yes.
least like 10 times this week, and I just want him to go a little bit more in depth about that, the difference between self-actualization and self-realization.
Yes.
Those two different things.
And we also talked about, we asked the question, do men get together and have conversations about relationships? So I like that you're taking the feminist perspective into the masculinity. That's amazing. And sorry for my accent, guys. You guys know I'll be struggling. He has been featured in various media outlets, including The Griot, HuffPost, Black Voices, Now This, Netflix, Fox 5 News, and Hot 97. Go get him, Jason. Yes. A sought-after motivational speaker, he has delivered keynote speeches at HBO Hispanic Heritage Month, Disrupt HR, as well as various colleges, universities throughout the tri-state area. Jason is a graduate of NYU's Stern School of Business. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
has a background in finance like me.
Yeah,
Hey. With a unique blend of style, culture, education, and spirituality. Jason's aim is to, yes, 100%, which his family is so amazing, by the way, guys. Jason's aim is to inspire, activate, and nurture the development of well-rounded men. Jesus.
Men.
I like how you stressed that last
Yes.
point.
It's always weird to hear that bio kind of read, but yeah, no, I'm excited and proud of all this.
Yes. Well, I had to. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like everything that you have here makes who you are. So it's definitely important for everyone to know your background. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because you're doing so many great things.
Thank you.
And he also has this amazing podcast. That's what you call it, or?
No, well, eventually I think we'll have a podcast with the
Okay.
platform. So I don't know if you want me to get into kind of what the Lives of Men is
Please.
formally.
Tell us
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Lives of Men is I call it an integrated media platform because we do three things. We do our content, kind of what you see online. We're having conversations around topics that are most relevant to men of color. So everything ranging from relationships to personal development, self-actualization, which we'll talk about. And in the process, we're chronicling our stories, right? Really telling our stories our way. And I hate to use the term because it's been overused, but really hoping to redefine what that means as to be a black man or black or brown man in media. So that's one part. And then the other part is events, right? So we socialize our message by way of our events. So we bring people together and have these conversations. And then the last thing we do is a lot of consulting, right? So we do work with schools in New York City. We do work on the diversity and inclusion side with major brands that kind of want to target and talk to our demographic. So it's an integrated brand in that sense, that we do all of those things.
Amazing.
So how long have you guys been doing this? When did this
A
first
year?
get started? It's been 1 year, but
Yeah.
just
Really?
listening to the
Yeah.
bio,
Oh
it
my
seems
God.
It seems like they've been doing
Like
it for
20
a
years.
decade.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I think it depends how I answer that, right? Because I think the platform has been in existence for a year.
Right.
But this is a culmination of my entire life.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. In your mind, it's been going on
Absolutely.
probably since birth.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Facts.
Which is how most, like we were talking about earlier, most organizations start from that passion and what it is you want to do, what you feel your mission is, your calling is, and then it's later that we, turn it into something tangible that we can utilize and actually see. But
Jason, I want to know, so there is a lot of talk in the media and in society in general in regards to the lack of certain representation and depictions, right, of people of color in not just the media, but society as a whole, politics, the government. So I want to know from you, from someone that's been involved in the game for a really long time, what is it that you think our society is missing or not necessarily doing for people of color today?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, and I have a perspective as a man, right, or as a black man, as an Afro-Latino man, in that, the example that I like to use is when Terrence Crutcher was shot in 2016, up on, the helicopter 100 feet in the air, someone made the comment that, oh my God, he looked like a bad dude because he was 6'4", over 200 pounds. I'm 6'4", over 200 pounds. So does that mean that I'm a black dude, right, or I'm a bad dude? And I think that's unfortunately, that's the microcosm or the microscope under which we're looked at, right? And so it's trying to define that. And I think, what we try to do as a platform is really show who we are, all the layers of who we are, right? We're not just entertainers and rappers and athletes, right? We're fathers, we're sons, we're brothers, we're activists. So I think that's important for us to really peel the layer back, the onion back, if you will, and kind of start telling those stories in a much more authentic way.
And break those stereotypes. And there's layers, exterior, but then there's also feelings that are inside layers that we really never get to see. I don't know if it's out of fear of being considered weak or what the issue is.
There's a lack of vulnerability.
Yes, or taboo about being vulnerable.
Right.
And communicating that vulnerability.
Especially amongst entertainment and athletes and stuff like that, so that I'm glad that you're, showing that.
Yeah.
And starting the conversation.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me earlier about some of the work that they're doing in schools, where they're having these discussions and workshops with boys and getting them comfortable, not only just seeing things from their perspective, but from the feminist perspective, which I wanted you to talk to us a little bit about.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you start that conversation with someone maybe that might be a little intimidated by the term?
Well, I think if you want to change the future, you have to start with the future, right? And our future are young men, or young people generally, right? But as it relates to my work, are young men. And I think I have to change my bio and I have to change my terminology, because it's not so much a feminist perspective as much as it is a womanist perspective. And the difference between the two is that a womanist perspective, and it was a term coined by Dr. Alice Walker, really centers the lives of black and brown women in that movement, right? Whereas feminists, is not necessarily that includes, right? So it's more of a womanist perspective, and I think it's difficult because our young men aren't used to this type of conversation.
No.
A lot of them don't have the lexicon and the words to even begin to articulate this stuff. So it's really the way I try to do it is, unfortunately, a lot of them, like myself, were raised in single parent homes that were led by women. So I try to center that experience. Like, how was it? How would you feel if your mom or your sister or your whoever was treated this way? You know what I mean? And unfortunately, hip hop, and I love hip hop. It's hard to be a womanist and love hip hop at the same time, right? Because of the language and the culture. But really how do we use hip hop to do that? And so one of the ways I was able to do that, and the reason I was on Hot 97 and Fox 5, is because I wrote about the Jay-Z article, 444 album.
Okay.
And I think that was, for me, is an important tool that I use with my work with them. We go track by track and we dissect the lyrics and say, what does this mean? And how does this apply to you in your life?
Right.
So I think that's important, and that's my way of doing it. There are 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but I think that's one way of doing it.
It's an effective way. And a friend of mine, actually, there was a program that was running at one of the schools that I used to teach at, and it was actually focused on hip-hop education and reaching students through hip-hop. And she's like, well, why are they doing it just through hip-hop? Like, only black people and Hispanic people listen to hip-hop. And if that's the fastest way to do it.
Well, it drives behavior and it drives culture, right? So we got to use what we have.
It's part of our culture now. And, it's not so much about the music. It has become a part of our fundamental part of our culture. And they listen, when it comes through that vessel. So what's been the hardest part about starting these conversations? Like, what kind of pushback have you gotten from particularly the boys?
Yeah. I think the hardest part is just me getting over my own imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Right, which we'll get into, like, who am I to do this work, et cetera. But that's a whole nother conversation. But as far as the hardest or the pushback that I've gotten from some of the boys is just really, how young men are. It takes time to develop relationships and have them trust you.
Trust.
And so I think a lot of that work involves me just kind of talking to them the way they would talk to each other. You know what I mean? It's not me. None of my workshops incorporate a whiteboard or a blackboard and things like that. It's more like we're going to sit around a room or around a circle and we're going to talk.
And you talk about it.
And that's what it is. And so it's just establishing those relationships in that form. I think is critically important.
That's the hardest part, is getting them to be honest and open
Right.
in that atmosphere where they're being vulnerable, in the circle of men. So I'm
Let me-
excited to see
and
all
let me
that.
say this too. I think that we don't give our young people enough credit.
Absolutely not.
We don't give them enough. They're listening.
They're listening.
And they're paying attention.
Absolutely.
And we may not see that right away, but trust that in 5-10 years time they will come back to you and they'll remember that
They
the
do.
smallest details.
The smallest thing
we gotta,
they do.
We got to make sure that we're accountable to one another.
Absolutely.
Well, we wanted to ask you, how were you able to develop this womanistic perspective? Like, was there anything in your life that you went through? I know you mentioned you come from a single parent home.
Yep.
Like, how were you able to tap into that for someone, who is struggling, a male who's struggling to tap
Yeah.
into?
I think it's interesting because it has a lot to do with my upbringing. And you met my mom, you met my family. So shout to Sue. She came to celebrate my
Yes.
birthday last year with me.
I
But,
know. And it's funny because my mom was there too,
Yeah,
my
that's
sister.
right.
So it
Oh,
was like
wow.
a family
Right.
affair. It
Family
was
affair.
amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think a lot of it is informed by that. I'm surrounded by women in my life, whether it's my mom, my daughter. I have a 16-year-old daughter. Shout out to JD. I'm sure she's watching. So I think all of those things inform my perspective, and I think it's as it relates to other brothers and how I'm trying to make sure we're all accountable is making sure that we have accountability partners, right? And so if my brothers on the chat are sending messages, I'm okay with the random message about like she's hot, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if that's the only thing we're talking
Right.
about, it's just like, come on, we're here to feed each other.
Yeah.
We need to
Exactly.
move past that. Let's talk about something else
more
other than
than this.
sports and things like that.
Right.
And I also, a good friend of mine just told me that this conversation about masculinity is maybe 3 or 4 years ahead of its time because it's all about black girl magic right now. And I get that, and I'm all for it, right? I'm all for it. But I
There's
think
black boy joy too.
no, there is. And
black
I'm not
boys
here.
are in
I'm
there.
not here to drive a wedge between the two.
Got you.
All I'm saying is, if what we're really talking about is building stronger communities, then we have to address both equally.
Absolutely.
Because that's what this is about.
They're one and the same.
Yeah.
100%. So
Jason, I want to know, and I'm really curious because I'm all about current events and what's going on in the media. So currently there's this huge movement when it comes to women really advocating for themselves and trying to find solutions to the problem of sexual assault in different sectors of our world. How do you feel about that? And what do you think will be the next step of that?
I think it's an incredible thing. I think it's something that is way overdue, in my opinion, in terms of be us as a community and population be more vocal around these things. I think it's unfortunate that we waited for some of these things to get to the point that they've gotten to for us to have the conversation. I think our role as men is one to, as I mentioned, be more accountable to one another, because I think that it's just as bad. The subtle ways that we uphold these systems of oppression and rape culture and all of that is just as bad as the overt ways that we support it.
Absolutely.
And so we need to make sure that we're policing ourselves, for lack of a better word, making sure that we're holding each other accountable. And then as far as what's next, I think, again, if it's about building stronger communities, women have been doing the work for a really long time. Sisters have been doing the work, and I think now we're getting to a point where brothers are starting to do the work, or at least understand what that means. I'd like to see us hold hands with one another a little bit more. And it's funny because I made a comment on Instagram the other day that was somewhat controversial, and it got a lot of pushback. It was, women aren't ready to really deal with a man that's really in touch with his emotions. And I said women on purpose. I could have said some women, right? Because there's a lot of women. But I feel like that because none of us knows what this looks like.
Right.
None of us knows what this looks like.
It's a new concept.
It's a very new concept. And I think if we can start to have very honest dialogue around what that looks like, then perhaps we can get somewhere. So hopefully that answers your question.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, to kind of touch on that, we wanted to ask you. It seems that the more successful and educated a woman becomes, her odds of finding a suitable mate diminishes.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
I know
and
where we're
some
going.
have taken
You know
on
where
the
we're going with this?
some have taken on the attitude that side chicks are winning. Like, what are your thoughts about that? And also, only 28% of African Americans were married, you know, compared to like other cultures. Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I think that there's no, it's not a secret that there are a lot more yous than there are us in the world. Meaning there are a lot more educated, progressive women that are doing good than there are men. And that's just sheer numbers, right? And that a lot of that's just, if you look at the population, 8 billion people in the world, there are a lot more females than males, full stop. But then when you look at our community, right, and you really drill down into that, as black and brown men, we're dying, we're in jail, you know what I'm saying? There are social constructs that are placed or have been created to further, you know, complicate that. And so I think it's very difficult. I speak to a lot of my single female friends about dating and about the availability of good men. And, you know, unfortunately, I feel for them because, you know, though there are a lot of good brothers out there, and I can attest to them, my group of friends are, you know, et cetera, there exists a lack of, you know, men that are progressive that can serve as good partners and that not only do that, but are willing to commit and are willing to do the work. I think that's another big point.
Willing to commit and willing to do the work.
Right.
And that's the conversation that I want to have because it's not easy. And you know, marriage is, yes, love is important, attraction is important, but marriage is a business. And I wouldn't just go into business with anybody. We have to be on the same page. We have to have the same core value belief system. We have to be working towards a goal. And a lot of people, not just men, a lot of people are not willing to put that work in. We're selfish. It's all about us. Emmanuel's term is we're very individualistic. What's in it for me mentality, and it just wasn't like that 60, 70 years ago. You know, the marriage unit, they were a team. You know, he gets laid off, you know what, I'm gonna hold you down, boo, until you get it together. And that just doesn't exist anymore, and I don't know I don't know how to have that conversation and get everybody back on the same page.
We're having it now, and we're having it now, and I hope that this conversation encourages, you know, our listeners and more men out there to just not be afraid to step forward and start having that conversation. Don't be afraid to be that one person in your core group, in your tribes, to step out and say, you know what are we doing right now? Like Rich, you know, you should do that with your group. With your group of friends. I know we talked about it with Rich. We talked about it in the last show, and I know Rich said something to the effect what you said, where men get together and all they talk about is sports.
And it's not a popular position to take.
No, we don't only talk about sport. Honestly, most of the conversations we have is about like financial stuff. You know, CDs, money market accounts, things like that. We talk about trying to take care of our family.
But you know what? I think Rich, and I think, because I agree with you, and I think it's just, we need to expand that conversation and include, you know, how you doing, brother? You good?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, is how you feeling?
How do you
know
feel?
what I'm saying? Like, all of that is important, and I know that's difficult.
No, we ask
You know
those
what I mean?
questions. We just don't talk about our love lives.
Right.
But I think that's an important conversation to have because our previous show, we were talking, before we let you go, we were talking about how there's so many programs for young girls. So we're curating our young girls to grow up to be these educated, successful women, but we're forgetting about our boys. Right, so that's why we wanted to bring you in. Because we support you 100%, and we feel like this is so needed.
Yeah, well,
especially they're educators and they talk about this all the time.
We need more Jasons in our
we need more Jasons.
Absolutely.
Especially in communities of color, like
they respond so differently. I've had a handful of African American men teachers in my career, and the response that they get from the children, like my class could be a circus. Matt, African American educator, one of my best friends, comes into the room. They're quiet. They're listening. They're focused. They don't, and he doesn't have to really yell at them. It's just that presence that they need. A lot of them are missing, and it's really a crisis that nobody wants to talk about. They have a big initiative right now with the Department of Education where they're trying to get black men to teach, and it's called Black Men Teach, where they're trying to recruit men from different professions.
They try it in so many different ways, like the big brothers, big sisters. You know, sorry to cut you off, but I know that we have to let Jason go. But before you go, just let everyone know where they can follow you, what outreach programs or projects you have coming up and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so the reason I've got to go is because I'm putting a lot of things together hopefully that people can gravitate
Hopefully we're
to.
gonna work together.
Oh yeah, no fact.
March 24th. Talk about that one.
Me too. June
So-
2nd.
So they can find us on our site, thelivesofmen.com, social media at The Lives of Men on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. My personal page as well is King Khepri, KingKhepri. And then as far as what we have coming up, I'm excited about it. I think we talked about it offline, you and I, Shirley, but concept of mental health is something that we don't talk about either. So we're putting together what I think it's the first of its kind men's wellness conference, March 24th. So details to come shortly.
I'll post it on my page also.
Yeah, no, cool. And then, it's just really continuing the conversation, right? So let's just continue to have the conversation. Eager to hear what people want to hear from us about. So definitely hit us up around that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jason.
All right.
Amazing.
I'm so
Thank
enthused.
you so much. Yes.
Thank you guys.
I'm so enthused.
We're definitely going to have you back, and we support you 100%.
And
so
likewise.
you'll see us all the time.
This is an important platform,
Yes.
so keep going.
We're going to stalk your life going
Thank
forward.
you. And one more thing. So you only have males on your conversation?
So the workshops themselves are for young men.
Okay.
But the what makes our brand unique is that we are inclusive of the female voice. So we want to make sure that
Amazing.
everything
Yes.
we do includes that.
Cool. Okay, yay.
Awesome.
Well, everybody, I hope you enjoy Jason Rosario.
Appreciate
Definitely follow him and The Lives of Men. He's doing amazing things. Men definitely take notes. It's very important. Like us women, we're craving this. We're craving for men to sit down together, have that conversation. Let's make these relationships work. Let's have this what is it? Hashtag Black love, hashtag Latino love, hashtag brown love.
Right.
Like let's get this going.
Any kind of love we get, we'll take it.
Yes, let's raise
Black,
our
brown,
kids
green,
with
yellow.
good morals. Let's raise our kids to love each other, to love, respect little girls since they're small, respect little boys, everything. Like let's just come together as a whole because society wants to tear us apart. We cannot let that happen. So let's have the conversation, guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna
Thanks,
take a quick
Jason.
break and we'll be right back.
Appreciate ya.
We're gonna take a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Oh, we have a stuff in the beat now.
All the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? Shorty, what you need? My run game, we ain't never leave. Counting up this money, we ain't never sleep. You got V12, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got my. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. All the way up. For my niggas with Bentley Coupes and Rolexes, kicked the out the room and gave her no breakfast. Had to stash the jewels, these so reckless. Keep my hoes on cruise, I'm talking naughty uptown, showing off for new things. Couldn't take it all, so I gave her chain. She called me top shot, so yeah, I keep a few chains. Champion sound, yeah, I got a few rings, and I'm all the way up. And you can stay up. And if you ask anybody where I live, they point to the hills and say, go all the way up. Go all the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Just left the big house to a bigger house. Ain't have a girlfriend, but the just out. Chanel cross back, it ain't even out. With the gold chains, Himalayan bird, lit it up. Pop, I hit him up, I'm talking color money. Purple yin and blue germ, I got brown lira. I ain't talking about rose, I'm that nigga on Viagra. That means I'm all the way up. And you can stay up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Go all the way up. Go all the way up.
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? Shorty, what you need? My run the game, we ain't never leave. Counting up this money, we ain't never sleep. You got V12, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got my. I'm all the way up. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. I'm all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. 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 I'm all the
I got the remix. Made it even better this time, can you believe this? Catch him in the club when this come on. Hear the screams in the building, it's their favorite song. Can't stop it and we ain't gon' try. You can watch while I shake, cause I know what you like. From the front to the back, got them shaking their hands. Even them thugs two-stepping, that's as much as they dance. And yes, it's alright. See him getting loose now. Anything can happen off a bottle of the goose now. You know it's crazy how we like to play. I got him ready for a baby, even Sandra Play. Like the
Look at me, shorty on the phone, shake her damn tambourine. She all on the floor, give me some more. Told her I could show attention never seen before. Told her I could make her back it up on the wall. I told her I was freaky on the floor. She thought that I was skinny, so she thought I couldn't hold her. Man, I threw a damn big ass on my shoulder. I told her, shake that ring, go, put yourself a whistle. 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 Like this, like that, come on, like this, like this, like that. Come on, to the left, to the left, to the right. Come on, like this, like this, like that. Let's go. Like this, like this, like that. Come on, like this, like this, like that. Come on, to the left, to the left, to the right. Come on, like this, like this, like that. Let's go.
When I'm blocking your phone number, you call me over your best friend's house. And it's not hot that I can't even go out with my girlfriends without you tracking me down. You need to chill out with that mess, cause you can't keep having me stressed. Cause every time my phone rings, it seems to be you, and I'm praying that it is someone else. So what? You bought a pair of shoes. Now I guess you think I owe you. Oh, you. As much as you do. I give them back to be through with you. And so what? So what? Now I guess you think I don't give a damn cause you're a bugaboo.
You set my soul on fire. Yo, this is KMC, and right now you're in tune to DSN Radio, Fearless Radio Show. You don't know, keep it locked.
All right, all right.
Look at us. Oh, we back? We on? See, I mean, this is what we do, guys. We got to tap each other on the shoulders. We got to congratulate each other. And I mean, we don't even have much left to say, to be honest. Like, who can follow this interview? I mean, this was so amazing. I'm so happy for all the great things that we're doing as, you know, colored people for our people.
Did you say colored people? I'm gonna fight you.
Colored people, brown people. Listen, I'm so happy for everything that we're doing. Everything that we're doing. I apologize if I was politically incorrect there, but you guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean.
She's okay.
And I have a different way of expressing what I have to say sometimes, guys. But you know what I mean. It's coming from the heart. I'm really happy with with everything that we're all doing. That, oh my God, this conversation was super, super, super important for us because definitely we feel like it's something that's lacking. Like the conversation with our men, with our boys is complete. It's lacking. It's just non-existent. You know, even in your homes. I know in the Latin culture sometimes we give more leeway to our boys than we do to our girls. We're very stern with our girls, and you have to do this, and you have to learn how to do this. And with our boys, we do everything for them. You know, we're not empowering them by doing that. You know what I mean? So this conversation that we had is super, super important. Accountability, 100%. Like, we all have to take accountability for our actions, for what we do. That's the only way that we're gonna be able to take a step back and say, you know what, that was wrong. Let me apologize. You know what, I shouldn't do that again. Like, we have to take ownership and accountability for our wrongs as well. Like, we cannot go around the world just saying whatever the hell we want and, you know, disrespecting others without realizing that that's not the right thing to do.
And the kids, like you said, they're watching.
They're watching. You know, they're definitely watching. Yes.
Emulating everything that we do.
Exactly.
So we have to be mindful. As early as possible.
Absolutely. And I know that the music out there, you know, right now, most of the time is very negative. But there are a lot of positive, conscious rappers that are really, really amazing. And I think that if we know of them, we should share it with, you know, with our youth, definitely, because
but I'm tired of people, not you in particular. There's more music than hip hop. Like,
Oh
expose
yeah,
your children to
absolutely.
something else. I've actually been asked to do a music appreciation class at my
Absolutely.
school. If you go into my car and listen to my playlist, you might find something. I love
Yeah.
hip hop. I was raised on hip hop, but there's Rod Stewart in there. There's Rick
Exactly.
Manuel, there's Houston.
Of course, that's the classics right there.
It's like I'm very versed, and I'm trying to expose my students to it because music saved my life.
Exactly.
You know, music is what I listen to when I'm stressed and angry. When I want to be creative, I get inspired by music, and it's not just hip hop.
It's
a lot
not.
of people make that mistake. Not you, but
Yeah, no,
they
of
think
course.
that you can only reach children.
Of
with
course.
hip-hop.
No, and
That's
it's
not
up
the
to
case.
us. It's up to us to provide that different type of music to our youth because to show them, yeah, because all they're seeing right now is what they're YouTubing and what they're listening to on the radio and stuff like that, you know. So it's definitely up to us to open up their ears and their minds to other types of music, you know, definitely important. But we are going to wrap up the show, and we want to thank everybody who's tuned in, everybody who is watching live or on our social media. Definitely, we're going to look back at the videos. Hopefully, you guys had some great feedback and, you know, some topics that you want us to talk about. Our next show is going to be really amazing, too. We're going to continue to honor Black History Month, and we have two amazing individuals coming. And we will be talking about some stuff they're doing down in Wall Street, and they call it Black Wall Street. So that's going to be really, really, really dope. So definitely tune in. And that will be I don't have the date, but it's 2 Saturdays from now. So we'll be back here. Yeah, something like that. I think so, yes.
Also, guys, if you
24th.
missed the show, if you have missed the show,
Yes.
you can go to fearlessradioshow.com.
Please do.
'Cause I know a lot of the live streaming, buffers,
cuts off.
off, and it gets annoying sometimes. So if you want to see the show in its entirety, you may go to fearlessradioshow.com, or you can download the DSN app, and you can listen wherever
Definitely.
you are.
Please do. Please visit the site, and you can be interactive there. You can send us an email. You can, you know, chat with us, whatever. But definitely check it out. We put a lot of work into the website too, and we make sure that all the shows are on there. And actually, it'll be a really good thing because you can see our progress from beginning to the present moment. And that can be used also as a form of motivation because when we first started, we did not know what we were doing, guys. So I am so happy because it's gotten so much better, and I'm very grateful to you guys because you guys have attributed to a lot of that.
Internet radio is different.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're kind of on camera, but then you're kind of not. So
Yeah.
you're kind of playing to two different audiences. Like I was brought up on TV,
Yeah.
broadcast journalism, so it's a different animal altogether.
Exactly.
We're still
Absolutely.
learning.
We are still learning, but we're super excited. Oh, look, somebody's visiting Fearless Radio Show. Thank you,
Oh,
guys.
wow,
You
thank
see?
you.
Yeah.
Somebody's visiting the website. I love that. Well, so we're gonna wrap up, and we're gonna talk a little bit about some really, really extraordinary events that we have coming up. Definitely one of our major focus this year is to put together more events so we can interact with you guys, and we can, you know, see you in person and have conversations and just have a good time and, you know, open up that dialogue to all the different topics that, you know, are affecting our community right now. So we're super excited. So Emmanuel, shoot.
Sure. So on June 2nd, we are organizing the Dream the Dream Scholarship Fund, which will be raising $5,000 for a dreamer on his or her way to college. So that will take place on Saturday, June 2nd. Location is TBD, but we will keep you posted on that.
Yes, it's going to be in Harlem.
It'll definitely be in Harlem.
It'll be easily accessible to all boroughs. But yeah, it's going to be really, really great. We're super excited to have that. And you know what? I wanted to ask you, the kids can be involved in the event, or is it just like a grown-up event?
Because the venues that we're looking at are 21 and over.
Okay.
They will probably have to be 21.
Okay, so it's going to be an adult fundraiser, and then we'll
So
award
even
the
even
kids.
if people can't attend, they can always make a generous donation.
Right.
And obviously, all the proceeds will go to benefit this dreamer.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you for doing this. It's awesome. We have to get Jason involved in that, definitely. And Shirley.
Hey. So we talk a lot. Probably 90% of our
Yes.
conversations are about relationships.
Yes.
Lack thereof. For some people.
It's going to get better, guys. We're going to work on that.
We're focusing on just having these open, down and dirty, non-judgmental conversations, and we are doing a relationship panel / happy hour event on April the 5th. It's going to be at Miss in Harlem. I think it's at 6 to 8.
Yeah.
There will be a networking hour. There will be what do we want? We want to say appetizers. What do you?
Yes, appetizers, wine. The good stuff, wine and cheese and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that the restaurant will be open, so you can grab a bite, have a light dinner and stuff like that. But we'll definitely have.
It's right after work, because it's hard, especially the older you get. It's hard to get people to come out on a weekday. So if they're already coming from work, it's a little bit easier to get.
What day is April 5th?
That's gonna be April 5th.
It's a Thursday.
From 6 to 8.
We're gonna have a panel of speakers.
It'll be very interactive. We're gonna give you guys an opportunity to submit your questions, so that we can have an open and honest dialogue, and won't just be us talking. So more to come on that.
Yes.
Definitely save the date. April 5th.
Definitely. And soon following that, we're going to work on a series of events. So we will have something more inclined to women empowerment coming soon after that. And hopefully, I've been working on a retreat for the past 2 years, guys. Hopefully, we can either make this happen at the end of this year, during the fall, or beginning of next year, maybe like kind of going into the springtime, from winter to spring. So definitely look out for that, because I'm very focused right now on mindset and healthy mindset. I know Jason's gonna have that event also, so I think that's very important for us to do and come together and turn off our phones and shut off from the world and just focus on ourselves.
Recharge. I think a lot of us are drained. Exactly. Like you start a new year, but some people are carrying over that negative energy from 2017, and just need to recharge and regain your passion.
And let go.
What it is.
And let go.
Please let go. Please let go of things that are dead. Please.
That's one thing that I focused on going into this year, and I think that's why I feel so much lighter. Is as soon as the year hit, I didn't even set any 2018 goals or
I told you I don't
or
do
what
that
do you call
anymore.
that? Resolutions. I didn't even set any, but what I did say to myself was, whatever happened last year is done. I don't care about it no more. I don't want to talk about it no more. It's out of my life. I'm living my life. So
your best life.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys
everybody
for tuning in.
that hangs. We have some loyal viewers that hang in every single time we air. We appreciate you guys.
We do.
I appreciate the love that you give me.
Yes.
Instagram and DMs.
Yes. 100%. Thank you guys for watching. Follow us on social media. Actually, we never share ours, so maybe you guys can share so everyone can.
Yeah, so mine is on both Facebook and Instagram, Fox Baldwin, Fox Baldwin, like the brothers or the hills.
And you guys know I'm Fearless Women, with an E, Fearless Women, and Fearless Radio Show. And the website is fearless-women and fearlessradioshow.com.
I actually have two. I have the nonprofit, which is GO_girls, GIRLZ _Inc. INC. And then I have my personal, which is Pisces Chick, CHIC 40.
Yes. Amazing. So definitely follow us. We try to be as interactive as we can.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Richie, I'm sorry.
See what happens when you don't sit at the big table no more.
I'm sorry, Richie.
Well, I'm on IG.
Rich, I love you.
DJ Brooklyn Rich 26. Yes. DJ Brooklyn Rich 26. And my Facebook is Brooklyn Rich.
That's right.
All right.
And check out Rich. Rich is always posting videos and he's sharing music. So definitely support him. Like, he's really good. We love you. DJ. He's gonna DJ all of our events. So definitely support him. He's doing dope things representing Brooklyn. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. You guys already know we'll be back on Saturday the 24th. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye. And call in 718-239-9200.
Now?
No, for the next show. Now? Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.